We're deep in the Sam Houston National Forest today, scouting out the best spots to camp and explore. Join us as we check out the trails, streams, and hidden gems this place has to offer. Welcome back to Bearded Excursions and Outdoors, everybody. Today we've got something a little bit different planned. No camping trip, however, we're deep in the 160,000 acres that Sam Houston National Forest has to offer, and I've marked 5 potential camp spots on Onyx Offroad, and we're going to go check those out and see if it's something that we can potentially use and camp out at in the future. So what do you say we go exploring, Little Bear?
Yeah.
Let's do it. We're starting on the north end of the Sam Houston National Forest today on the west side of I-45. I've marked out 5 potential campsite locations on the map, and we're anxious to see if any of them are going to pan out and be worth a future visit. Whenever I'm scouting for a new campsite, especially one I might bring Little Bear and Bailey back to, I'm looking for a few key things that make it more than just a place to park. First off, I'm always on the lookout for flat ground. It doesn't have to be perfectly level, but close enough that I'm not sliding off the air mattress at 3 in the morning. Next is vehicle access. I want to know I can get the Prospector in and out without tearing up the trail or risking getting stuck, especially if it rains. And it's not just about the Jeep. I'm thinking about how easy it would be to pull in, turn around, and set up without a huge hassle. Shade is a big one here in Texas. It might not seem like a priority during cooler months, but once that sun gets high, you want some trees to tuck under, especially if you're staying a couple of days. It makes a huge difference in how comfortable your camp feels. Then there's proximity to water. Now, I don't mean right on the edge of a river or anything. You don't want to deal with flooding or bugs, but being within walking distance of a creek or pond is a huge plus. It's good for Bailey to splash around, fun for Little Bear to explore, and honestly, there's just something peaceful about hearing water close by. At the same time, I want to be far enough away from other campers. Part of what I love about dispersed camping is that sense of solitude, where it's just you, the trees, and the sound of the wind. It doesn't have to be miles from anyone, but I don't want to hear someone else's generator when I'm trying to soak in the quiet. I also think about space to roam. Places where Little Bear can climb on logs, build a stick fort, or learn how to start a fire safely. And Bailey needs her sniff and snoop time too. I try to imagine what it'd be like if we stayed a whole weekend. Is there enough here to keep them engaged and connected to the outdoors? And finally, I'm always looking for signs that wildlife might be nearby. Tracks, scat, maybe a deer trail cutting through the brush. Not only does that tell me the area is healthy and active, but it also opens the door for one of those early morning moments where you can catch a hawk overhead or a deer at the tree line. So yeah, it's not just about finding a spot that's clear enough to park. It's about finding a place that feels right, a spot where campfires feel earned, where morning starts slow, and where memories are waiting to be made. Looks like the first site I marked on Onyx is accessible by foot traffic only, and that usually won't work for us, so I'm gonna have to mark that as not worthy. Sometimes you just don't know. It's all part of the exploration. You're gonna find roads that are closed and things of that nature, so we're gonna keep on going, and on our journey to the next spot, we'll take a look and see if there's anything else that may stand out that we could use as a potential campsite. So we'll check it all out. So bummer that the first one didn't pan out, but that's okay. Back to exploring. Little Bear and I found this offshoot of this road, and it kind of is getting a little bit more wild as we travel down it. But we're curious to see if it'll lead to any potential campsite. The gate to the road was open, and it didn't say that motor vehicles were not allowed. So I'm just going to kind of keep going down this road, see what we can find, if anything. Well, looks like we've reached a dead end. Got down trees and stuff, so it's as far as we're going to go here, I'm afraid. Out here, it's easier to hear God. No traffic, No noise, just trees and truth. All right, we're back on the main Forest Service road now, heading back to the second location that I marked for a potential campsite. That little offshoot that we just didn't really pan out because there was a down tree, and even the deeper we got back in there, the less it had been traveled because the vegetation was so thick. But it was still fun to kind of go offshoot and explore a little bit. Credit that trail to Little Bear. He found it, and we said, hey, let's go check it out since the first campsite didn't pan out. But we're traveling now. We're confident we're going to find us a good spot somewhere. So we just pulled into a little spot. You can see the road right back there off the county road. We just pulled into this little spot, and it's just a little campsite, probably a hunter camp or something like that. But we decided that we would pull off and check this spot out. I'll at least mark it on the Onyx Offroad app. You can see somebody left their trash. Come on, people, do better. Pick up after yourselves. But there is a downed tree right here. But there's still a spot for, you know, at least 1 or 2 tents probably. A nice little secluded area in the trees. It's flat. It's got a little bit of trash, which I guess sometimes you got to expect that. What do you think, Little Bear? You like this spot? Mm-hmm. So what do you like about it the best? I don't know, you just like it? Yeah. Little places you can explore probably. Just kind of build off, and it's far enough back off of the road that honestly it's not a bad site. When it comes to camp spots, a couple things to keep in mind is, like, it's got to be flat. It's got to be accessible for my Jeep, because I do like to do backpacking type camping, and I probably will do some of that at some point. But for now, everything that I do, all the gear and everything that I have to be accessible to the Jeep. So this spot checks that mark. It's flat, so I can set up a tent. It's got plenty of shade, even it's about 11 o'clock in the morning right now. And as you can see, it's going to give you some shade throughout the whole day. That's just kind of an angle of what you can see from above. So that's nice. It doesn't have any water features. There's a little bit of trash to pick up, as we mentioned before, but all in all, this is a spot that I'm going to mark, and I'm going to save it on Onyx, because when I do come out here and explore, most of these campsites that are dispersed camping, it's on a first come first served basis. So if you find the most awesome campsite in the world and we try to go to it, but somebody's staying at it, I got to pick another spot. So although this isn't the best possible spot, it is a viable option, and it's quiet. We're off this road. There's hardly any traffic. I think we passed 1 motorcycle so far since we've been going. So I'm going to mark it on the map, and we'll keep on trucking to the next one. Before moving on to the next camp, Little Bear and I decided that we would take a moment to take a little bit of a break and toss around the new football he got for his birthday. And of course, he wanted to sport his new receiver gloves. So we enjoyed some time tossing the football around. Okay, guys, I think that kind of wraps it up for this site. On to the next one. Well, we've at another campsite that I did not previously mark. This one, we found a road with an open gate and we said, hey, let's go check this out. Well, look what we found. Sometimes the best campsites are the ones that you didn't plan for. And this one checks all the boxes. Yep, Little Bear said he's glad it wasn't closed, but we've got water access, which is great points for some fishing. I've got a flat spot right about here. I can put the tent up. You see people have made some fires previously. There's another fire pit there. A little bit of trash in the area, but man, this is a great spot for, you could even put a couple of rigs out here, and this spot is great. What you think, Little Bear?
Cool.
Is this the #1 spot so far?
Yes, it will always be.
It will always be the #1 spot. It's got water access, a place for him to fish. This is Lake Conroe, beautiful Lake Conroe. Even a good spot to park the Gladiator. If I have the tent set up maybe in this area, then the Gladiator can be set up there. That will be the view outside the tent. I can't wait to come back to this spot. Phenomenal. I can't wait to come back to this spot. Exactly what I hope for, to find some really cool hidden gems that are out there. And you don't know what's out there until you go exploring. What do you think, Little Bear?
Yeah, I'm gonna go here thousands of times.
He's gonna go here thousands of times. Well, you know what? I'll be right here with him because it seems like a perfect spot. After finding such an awesome campsite, Little Bear and I were very excited to start heading to our next marked location to see what that had to offer. So we headed on down the road. When I had looked at this site on Onyx, well, it's hard. I use the 3D map layer. And so when I'm looking from a satellite view, sometimes it looks like maybe there's spots available to camp in and sometimes there isn't. And so there was this little creek area, but it turns out as we're driving down the road, we cross the creek, it just basically turns into a right-of-way easement line and there's no pull-offs, there's no spots to camp out in or anything like that. And the little creek is cool, but turns out it's not a viable location, unfortunately. As the heat started to rise in the afternoon and we made our way to the next campsite, Mother Nature surprised us with a little bit of a rain shower that lowered the temps, and man, was it refreshing. We were met with another closed gate. Well, I guess that means we gotta keep searching. Guys, I think that pretty much does it for this particular trip, the wrap up. We found that one incredible campsite that we absolutely loved, and then we found one that would work in a pinch. So that's what we found today. Now, it is noteworthy to mention that that epic campsite that we found down that road, there's probably another 4 or 5 campsites that are available as well, so that are viable. But sometimes you run into roadblocks, like the one campsite that I thought was going to be by a creek. There's just nowhere, no good spot to camp. And then there was a couple of other campsites that I had marked that don't have road access. So all that happened, and it's fine. That's what this adventure was about today. It was a scouting adventure, just so we could get out and just kind of see. That way we had a very clear picture of the sites that we wanted to go to whenever we come back in the near future to do some camping. So we kind of are at the end of a forest service road now, and I thought this would be a good time to wrap it up. And we had a lot of fun today. Little Bear, did you have fun today?
Yeah.
He said, yeah, he had a good time. So, oh, he just caught a butterfly, he said.
A moth.
A moth, okay. Well, that does it for us, guys. We are going to head it back to the house. We have a lot to be thankful for, and we really did. I mean, the trip was worth it. Finding that epic campsite was that was worth it, 100% for this trip. So we're gonna go back home and get prepped for our next trip. We're gonna wrap it up here, guys, and we're just gonna say thank you for watching. If you have not already, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and comment. YouTube absolutely loves the engagement, and it really helps put my my video out there in front of other people who may want to watch it. So until next time, we'll see you down the trail or around the campfire.